This podcast is produced and managed by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, Australia's independent video and podcast company. We do the podcasting hard bits so you don't have to. We make podcasts easy. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.
Today, we're going to talk about creative mojo. What if your creative juices run low? Don't you just hate it when this happens? It's even worse than starting on a blank page. As creatives, we have a big tendency to run into this dilemma more than once in our lifetime. It is like your mind is just has completely run out of ideas, or you might just feel that you're simply running on fumes. You are listening to episode 10 of Wellness Fridays with Coach Joy Karen.
Let's talk well-being and mental health. Whether you're an aspiring coach, content creator, or podcaster, you need to take care of yourself as well. Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
What's up, pod friends? I'm Joy Karen, your creativity coach. Wellness Friday is a weekly show created for podcasters and content creators. This show aims to talk about creativity, inspiration, and overall well-being so you can keep doing what you love most. First, let me thank my podcast management group, Mika of Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, and to your amazing team for this platform and for the opportunity to spread the spark of creativity all over. So more and more people will do what they love most as they #sparkle within. On this episode, we'll talk about running low on creative juices and how George R.R. Martin humanizes success and the creative process. Have you ever lost something and no matter what you do, you couldn't find it? When I was studying in elementary, I had this favorite pen, a glittered scented panda ball pen. I loved writing notes using this because it was so pigmented, it's so pronounced, and my notes stood out and my handwriting looked better. Unfortunately, I misplaced it. And no matter how cheap and easily replaceable it was, I couldn't find the pen that could replace that one-of-a-kind panda ball pen. And then one day, as I was decluttering my school bag, I saw it snuggled inside a notebook I rarely use. I can say my creativity is like that at times. I feel that I run on fumes because I miss something. I feel I misplaced something. My mojo. And at this point, anything I create doesn't seem to fit well. Something does not feel right. Have you ever felt this way? Whenever we feel we're running on fumes, I bet we all know what to do. Yet, we dread to do it. We don't want to do it. We all know that we need to take a break. Yet we feel that we cannot stop. We can't stop. And we still complain that we have run out of the creative mojo, but we still can't stop thinking about what to create and thinking about where the hell that creative mojo is. This tends to be a toxic cycle, and if left unchecked, it will become a whirlpool that drags and derails us. It leaves us feeling so bad about ourselves without even knowing what and how it all began. One significant proof that we have a dip in being productive or creating anything relatively creative is the famous author George R.R. Martin, who wrote the Game of Thrones. In the past few years, did you know that George R.R. Martin opened up about his struggles in writing? I know that what we see today is a successful author who is blessed and very successful, that his books were sold all over the world and a lot of people loved it. I loved it. I watched the series. And speaking of series, most of his books became TV series and it attracted more fans to the books. But behind that legendary and beautiful written pages are deep struggles he faced as a writer, as a creative. He wrote Dance with Dragons for 6 long years. Gosh, it took him 6 long years to finish it. I cannot imagine how he felt when he finished that. And you know what? In those 6 years, he could just leave it. But he kept on going and adding whatever he can to the story until the end. His dedication and grit is truly something we can look up to. But what I truly admire about him is how he openly shares his creative struggles. And this makes him so easily relatable. It makes it so easy for us to relate to him. In an interview he had way back in 2019, he shared that a career in writing is a career for gamblers. Every time you write a book, it's like throwing a dice again. This may be because he grew up poor. He had to hustle his way to live and to pay the bills. But he knew that even if he was at a young age, that writing alone is not gonna pay the bills. It's not gonna help him live. So what he did is to took on he took on day jobs and did writing on the side. But he never stopped writing.
We will be right back.
Are you passionate to help other podcasters? Wanted to connect to growth-minded podcasters and service providers? The Podcast Creators Society is now open for new members. Head over to www.podcastcreatorsociety.com/community. Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com www.kangaroofern.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
In an interview with Stephen King, and this is really quite a funny scene to witness, he candidly asked him how he writes books so fast. And as I've shared a few episodes ago, he took a while in finishing one of his books, and as I've shared with you, Dance of Dragons took 6 years to finish. And his current book, which is A Song of Fire and Ice, is not yet done. It's still on the works. This is proof that not everyone gets kissed by a muse each and every day. That there are times we need to pause. We just need to pause and to take a step back and just give ourselves the break that we need instead of pushing ourselves till we go insane. And like any prolific author, us creatives have passion projects that nobody totally gets. And whenever this happens, we tend to be so hard on ourselves. But in reality, we must accept and be ready to receive rejections and know that deep within, even if some people reject it, it doesn't mean that it's not good. Knowing this and doing it anyway is so much liberating, so much better than constantly wondering about what if. So, pod friends, in times that we feel that our brains, our creativity, or at times our common sense has left us, don't worry, don't panic. It is temporary and it is part of a creative's journey. On the next episode, let's talk about what we can do to help ourselves whenever we feel that our creativity is on its all-time low, and how a 3-letter word can ignite that creative juice once again. That's it for today, friends, and I hope this episode sparked something awesome in you. If you'd like to listen more of Wellness Fridays with Coach Joy Karen, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to connect, you can find me on Facebook. Just search Joy Karen, the Creativity Coach. The conversation doesn't end here, friends. Go and find us at the Podcast Creator Society. The link is on the description because we are more than happy to welcome more members in our growing community of podcasters helping out fellow podcasters. And if you're interested, you can also join the Podcast Freelancers Hub. Enjoying this platform is even more easier and more fulfilling with fellow podcasters by your side. So go on over and join us at the Podcast Creator Society. If you feel that this episode is worth sharing, please do so. It will help us reach more podcasters and content creators who might be needing that spark of inspiration, creativity, and overall well-being. Again, thanks for listening, and I'll see you again next week. But before I go, don't forget to keep on doing what you love most. That's how you #sparkle within. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.